I'm in Bradford today, and sitting next to me is Mr. Mohammad Aslam, the founder of the Aagrah group of restaurants, a very famous and well-known chain of restaurants here in the region of Yorkshire. Food is one of those things which has completely taken over. Indian food has had a massive impact on the whole diet of Britain, and it's a very popular food. In fact, some would say that as a result, English people have changed their taste buds as after starting and trying Indian food, so they're now expecting better food, better hospitality as well, and this is where the Indian community is very strong in this area. Tell us a little bit about how you got into this business and how you managed to turn it from not a little corner tandoori restaurant but into a whole chain of restaurants.
Basically being a bus driver and a textile worker to start with, the business was not started by myself, it was started by my elder brother. I'm the youngest, Sabir, he started it, and I joined him from day one. Obviously it was a family business, and you know, every subcontinent Indian family business is that a lot of family members needs to work free of pay. So I was an unpaid waiter for probably about two and a half years, just trying to help to run the family business. I joined in 1983 into the business when we had only one branch, which is about 50 yards from here. And basically, I think that the biggest advantage what we had is, people think it was a disadvantage, but I think it was an advantage. I had absolutely no experience. I had a clean sheet. I had no experience of working in catering in the industry or chefing, and now I'm a chef after 35 years. Yeah. And my elder brother, obviously, he's a chef as well. We have 30 odd at the moment. This is the quality chefs. I'm not talking about the kitchen porters. So he had a clean sheet. He didn't know how the commercial restaurant is run. I didn't know. We didn't know nothing about the cuisine, and it all came from home. The wives from home here, getting the, you know, all the technical sort of information about the recipes, thingy, you know, the recipes, and on basis of that we developed the menu, and basis of that is the foundation of the Aagrah with a clean sheet. And everybody says we serve authentic home style cooking. If I would have worked and Sabir would have worked in any other restaurant, what we'll be doing is naturally we would have that knowledge and we'll copy it. We didn't. We investigated, we copied the homes. Even today, to be honest, I'll be very honest with you, sometime in bigger occasion I want to do something different, and I'm stuck, and I'll bring home. How do you do this? Give me the basics. So don't give me the method, just give me the basics. You know, what was that flavor I had? So what was that flavor? I couldn't figure out. Oh, it was that flavor. Fine, I've got it now. It's just reminding. I think that it is very important. If you're looking about subcontinent, the quality of the food is also always comes from home, wives, sisters, mothers. Now, if the food is eaten, if you're a foodie type of people who like their food, then the female sector of your home is very expert on that, and there are a lot of homes in subcontinent that is the case. And if the food is very average, you know, if you're going into the catering industry like me with a clean sheet, obviously I'll be copying very average. So
yeah, we've actually done a whole video on the master chef in every home, saying how
exactly.
This talent is so innate amongst, especially amongst the women, and how there is an oral tradition around food and food recipes as well. And that's really amazing to see that. So actually, effectively, when people come to your restaurants, they're getting homemade food rather than food which is manufactured.
That is the biggest aim of the Aagrah. I never call a chef a big chef who can do a dish. Really, not anybody, but a lot of people can do a dish that would be nicer than maybe sometime very high profile celebrity chef. But has he got ability to adopt that into the catering industry? I'm talking about engineering now. Right? And because I would call a successful chef who can basically change the home cooking into the catering, into the commercial, getting the same results. It's impossible to get exactly 100% result. If anybody is saying it, he's lying. That's not true. Now, I would say 75–80%. If you get close to it, that's good enough.
I mean, one of the other great strengths of India, of course, is this whole culture of hospitality, of welcoming people, giving them, and especially a lot of hospitality centers around food. So how have you created a hospitality culture here in Britain through the service that you give to your customers and the welcome that you give, the way you serve the food, and the grace with which you do it?
I think when it comes to the hospitality, don't underestimate the Europe as well. My argument with the European way of serving. For example, if you allow me, like in Europe, there is a plate service, there is silver service, there is a family service. That is really Indian family service, means putting the food as a banqueting and everybody is sharing it. Now when you're sharing it, what you're trying to do is you're building up the relations over the food. That is very important. That is why that is another reason, this is what I think, that the family are very strong in subcontinent. There are reasons behind it. Here, this is mine, this is yours, you don't touch mine, you don't touch yours, it's plated, you're not sharing. So the humans are not coming closer to each other. It's cost effective. There's no wastage like this. With our style, the family style of service, there's more wastage. The food finished on the table. If it's 10 people sitting, any subcontinent Indian, whether it's a Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Indian, or whoever it is, he will make sure there's enough food on the table for about 12 to 15 people, because that's a bigger insult if the food finishes. Going back to the logics. So I strongly believe that food, the family service, and the biggest advantage we have is the quality, the variety of our food. Subcontinent Indian food has upper hand with, I would say, any food in the world at the moment. It does not need any artificial coloring, and I'm very anti-color. Right? It does not need any artificial flavoring, because the variety of the spices what we have, we can create all of that, and it will look better in color, in taste than any other cuisine, and then when it comes to the flavor, it's so tasty. The biggest complaint, I mean, I've been dealing with the mainstream English for 35 years now, is I've eaten too much. You only eat too much the food if it's good. You can't eat the food which is not good, you can't have it too much.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem.
That's fantastic. So making food is one thing, knowing how to cook delicious food is one thing, but then turning it into a viable business, and not just one business but a chain of restaurants, is another. And in a sense it requires a range of skills, not just a skill in making food, but also a skill in serving, a skill in marketing, a skill in financial management, etc., etc. I mean, you said earlier that you are not very educated as a, and you just started by being a waiter. Now, how did you make that transformation from one narrow skill to this wide range of skills? And you effectively have become a professional manager now. How did you make that transformation in one lifetime?
I strongly believe in there is a will, there is a way. You need, I personally think, or a lot of people think around me, that I have a very strong personality, strong will of doing. I don't compromise. I don't look, up to today even, I don't look at the profitability. I don't look at the balance sheet. What I think always is important is the quality, and being customer myself, looking at the quality of the food, what I put, if I'm charging somebody, it has to be the worthwhile, it has to be the better value than they can get anywhere on the earth. Obviously you do have balance sheet, you have a system that take care of everything. If that is not there, you don't need balance sheet. They won't be there.
So what you're saying is you set your own standards.
Exactly.
And focus on the standards, and the customers keep on coming because of that.
Because of that, it's the trust, it's the faith, and I strongly believe that is the brand building.
I mean, you mentioned earlier about the whole kind of recipe book that you inherit as an Indian, and the whole culture of food that you inherit as an Indian. But what about the culture of your style of management, the culture of the staff that you have? Do you only employ Indian staff in your restaurant?
No, we have Indian, we have Pakistani, we have Sri Lankans, regardless of religion. We have English, we have Eastern European, over 350 staff throughout the group at the moment. But in front of the house, staff training is another thing that we do a fair amount, working with the catering colleges in here, the hospitality industry, and we invest a lot of money in that. I take part in that, and I take part in the training of the chefs, trying to be self-sufficient. Self-sufficient, I'm a great believer in that, but you do need expertise from, whether it's from India, whether it's from Sri Lanka, whether it's from Bangladesh or Pakistan, from everywhere. And we we have probably 0.5% of what is the staff level that we have chefs from subcontinent, because, and they would be only in a level of, for example, the last staff what we had from Sri Lanka, who has represented his country 4 times in international food fairs. His country, not his company, his country. That level that they have to create more jobs here. People around here, Indians and Pakistanis and Bangladesh, who are unemployed, and when it comes to unemployed, there are the minorities are always the worst hit. So a chef coming from there need to create at least 10 jobs and the training. And I think I have personally learned a lot from those chefs